How you doing? Welcome to Gaming Solo. My name is Robert Solo Gamer Friend. This is a Gaming Solo 12 games that you can fit in a miniature stocking for Christmas that you can get for yourself or for your loved ones. These are games I have within my collection, so I know for a fact they fit. There are many others out there, but I'm going to use the ones that I own, only to prove that one, they can fit, and two, I've played them so I know them so I can talk about them personally. But in that, let's go and get into the countdown. This is no particular order. I'm randomly grabbing. So 12 through 1 doesn't matter. It's your preference, not even my preference. Number 12 may be my favorite one, but it's probably not. But now let's go and get into the 12 game countdown for stocking stuffer games. Alright, the first one, we'll grab right off the front here, is Mint Delivery. Mint Delivery is a pickup and delivery game where players take the role of mint delivery truck drivers, driving around the area, taking orders of the mints, then delivering them. Each player has two actions on their turn, such as moving, loading their trucks, and upgrading the mints they are carrying. Once enough orders have been fulfilled, the game ends. Whoever has fulfilled the highest value of orders will be deemed Employee of the Month. Mint Delivery is easy to learn, fun to play, and takes a long time to master, especially when you're playing against the Automa. So hopefully you can find that in your local game store, but if not, the website to order is in the link below. Now the next one we're going to look at is, it's another Mint game, Mint Bid. Mint Bid is a unique game where every winning bid is shared by two adjacent players. So each player has to compete and cooperate to gain competitive edge. Victory in Mint Bid is simple to understand. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game wins. Getting the most victory points isn't always so simple though. Since all victory points are shared between pairs of players, players must strategically win auctions and utilize the location's special actions to ensure victory. Mint Bid is one of those games where you're forced to work with the other players, but at the same time you're trying to outscore them. So it's a really fun game. It's one of those social games where you got to work well together, but at the same time keep that competitive edge and kind of outthink them on how you're bidding and what you're doing. So Mint Bid's a fun game. Like I said, it fits in those miniature stockings, and it's a great game to get one of those gamers in your life for Christmas. Alright, the next game on the list is, if I can get it out. Oh, it's stuck. Doesn't mean it doesn't fit. Ugly Griffin Inn. In Ugly Griffin Inn, you'll be tasked with managing your patrons' various needs to ensure they get a good night's rest. Each turn, you'll send one drowsy patron to their room. Then check to make sure that all your patrons are sleeping soundly. If something's irking them, they might raise a fuss. So keep an eye on what they need as you go. Afterwards, you'll usher in more guests and keep an eye on the bar to make sure there's no trouble. There's never moments of rest in this game. After you run out of cards in the deck, then count how many patrons you have in the inn. Do not include the patrons in the bar. If you have 7 or more patrons in the inn, you've won. If you don't have 7 or more, you've lost the game. And of course, you'll owe money for those deck collectors out there looking for you. I enjoy Ugly Griffin Inn a lot because it forces you to manage your patrons at the same time keeping the people sleeping happy. And you have a lot of noisy patrons or irksome patrons out there that will cause your sleepy patrons to wake up and just leave. Or some will even jump out the window. But Ugly Griffin Inn is a fun game to play. I really enjoy it and I take it on every road trip with me. Alright, let's look at the next game. Oh, another one I can't get out. It's another pocket. Alright. Sprawlopolis. In Sprawlopolis, players will work together to build a new city from the ground up, using only 18 cards in the variable scoring system. The game is never the same game twice. Each turn, players will play one card from their hand to a growing city, trying to score as many points as possible. Players will have to communicate a plan without revealing their own cards in order to most efficiently develop large areas in each of the 4 zones. Watch out though, the city hates paying for road maintenance, so each road will cost you points at the end. When all cards have been placed, the game ends and players will see who have met the dynamic generated minimum score of each game. Sprawlopolis is challenging for the most part, not for trying to build those zones, but trying to keep from as many roads as possible from developing. If you can make one huge long continuous road, you only lose 1 point. But if you have multiple roads in there that lead to nowhere and start from nowhere, then you're going to lose more points. So the goal is to build the city, reduce the road usage, and win the game. Alright, let's see what the next stocking has for us. Escape Death Race 2182 Micro. In Escape Death Race 2082 Micro, you create unique tracks from the deck with 20 road tiles. You move through obstacles with fire zones and hazards, seek and destroy 3 sub-bosses before taking on final boss, engage against your fellow racers in drive-bys and battle outs. You have 6 characters to choose from with different special abilities, and you can harness up to 4 types of weapon drops to succeed. You have to carefully utilize your power cards to gain the upper hand, and you got to watch out for the event cards that will help you or hinder your progress. Escape Death Race 2082 Micro, that is one of those post-apocalyptic games where you're actually fighting aliens who took over the earth and they're using you as their entertainment. So you're fighting against other humans and you're taking on other alien bosses at the same time. It's basically Death Race 2000, 150, 200 years in the future. It's a fun game. The card layout is dynamic. It changes every time you play it, so you can't play the same route twice. But the cool part is when you draw the card, you lay it wherever you want to as long as it connects to a road. So you can make it go to a dead end if you choose to. It's all your choice. But it's a fun, entertaining game that'll keep you playing for hours because it's going to be different every time. Let's see what's in our next stocking. Mint Works. Mint Works is a worker placement game. During each game, each player will have a limited amount of mint tokens which represent their workers. Players will use these mint tokens to earn more tokens. Take first player or buy and build plans. Plans are how players earn points. Some plans will give only points, others will give extra powers to the owner. Once any player has at least 7 points earned, or if there's not enough plans to refill the stock, the end game is triggered. The game will then be over at the end of the current round. Whoever has the most points provided by plans will win the game. Mint Works is one of those games you can play over and over again against the automa and not have the same play twice. There's varying levels of the automa, so you can make it easy or hard, whatever works best for you, whatever challenging you're willing to work with. But Mint Works is one of those games I take with me all the time on the road because it's quick, it's easy to set up. I can knock a game out in 10 minutes, pack it up, and go about my business. So if you get the opportunity, pick up Mint Works for yourself or a loved one for Christmas and put it in their little stocking for them. Alright, let's check out this next stocking for us. Oh. Mint Control. As you guys can tell, I'm a little bit of a Mint fan. In Mint Control, each player has 5 influence tokens that are placed into buildings. The first player to play all influence tokens ends the game. For each location, the player who has control of that location earns the victory points associated with that location. During play, if a player has presence on the card, they can use the actions on the cards by paying their cost. There are effects such as kicking other players off locations, taking more mints, and placing influence tokens. What I like about Mint Control is a straight up area control game. What makes it entertaining is you can kick people off a location just when they thought they're about to win the game and you put them back a little bit. So if you like area control, kicking people out of locations and winning games, then Mint Control's for you. Alright, let's check out this next stocking stuffer. Mint Knight. In Midnight, you'll create your own adventure as you explore lands, recruit an army, defeat keeps, slay dragons, and conquer castles. You'll have to manage your hand of cards to perform actions to achieve your goals. You'll be slaying dragons and orcs, learning spells, finding artifacts, recruiting units, and assaulting castles in your adventure. This game features some hand management, light deck building, and adventure leveling. The goal of the game is to find 2 castles and battle them before the end of the 4th round, otherwise you will lose. Midnight's one of those games, if you like fantasy adventures, it's definitely for you. And the fact that it gets harder as you advance, but at the same time you have to level up your character in order to meet that increasingly harder level makes the game really entertaining. But if you're not careful, you can miss all that and get knocked out by the 2nd round. So Midnight's one of those games that you can take anywhere with you when you want that fun fantasy adventure, take on some orcs, take out some keeps, fight some dragons, and this is definitely the game for you. Alright, let's check out our next stocking. Deck 52 Space Wrecked. Deck 52 Space Wrecked is a quick solo dungeon crawl game where the player fights through randomly generated levels of a derelict spaceship trying to survive and reach the escape shuttle. The game can be played in a single scenario, or you can play a campaign mode with increasing levels of difficulty. Each game level is randomly unfolding while you are exploring it, combining up to 7 random objectives and 7 threats to add more replayability. Deck 52 Space Wrecked is one of my favorite games. You know, I'm into space dungeon crawlers, so this goes right up my alley. It's a fun game. It's a different play every time. And depending on the character you get, it's either increasingly harder or increasingly easier. It depends on how you play it and how the cards come out. What I like best about the ship is that every part you explore is going to require some type of action from you. So it makes the game entertaining and fun, and it develops differently every time. If you and your loved one love dungeon crawl space themes, then Deck 52 Space Direct is definitely the game for you or them. Alright, let's see what our next stocking has in store for us. Space Shipped. Space Shipped is a solo space trading card game of buying and selling resources, upgrading your ship, crew, and equipment, dealing with pirates, and making deals. Your goal is to make enough money through your buying and selling resources to be able to afford 2 very expensive exotic stones. At the same time you're trying to do it, pirates are working hard to collect them as well. If they get them first, or if your ship takes too much damage, you'll lose the game. As if the pressure from the pirates isn't enough, on each turn, you'll pilot your ship to different planets, experiencing random encounters, solar winds, and violent attacks. Spend too much time repairing your ship and the pirates will steal the crystals first. But don't repair your ship enough and it will likely be destroyed in these attacks. Hire the right crew, buy the right ship, fit your ship with the right equipment, and you just might make it out of the galaxy alive. This is another one of those card games where you get to collect resources, you get to fight pirates and other things, and you have to deal with events that just come out of nowhere every time you flip a card over. It's a fun game. It plays in like about 10 minutes easily. It depends on how long it takes you to analyze each card. But you can pull the game out, set it up, play it, and pack it away and be ready to go back to work from your 15-minute break. So if you love space-themed games, then Space Shipped is definitely the game to get for you or your loved one for Christmas. Alright, let's check out this next stocking. Mint Cooperative. In Mint Cooperative, you work to deliver Mintopia and the other towns of Mortimer County from the paradontal peril of the dominion of Halitosis. You and your team will collectively try to defeat the villains by making it through all of the Mayhem cards in the Trouble deck, utilizing each of the individual superhero specialties and other randomized stunts before triggering the end of the game. To win, the players must reveal and process all the Mayhem cards in the Trouble deck without the regional panic track meeting or exceeding 27. Hey, if you're into superhero games and you don't mind a little bit of the accordions that comes with it, then Mint Cooperative is it. You control from 1 to 4 heroes depending on how many players. If you're playing solo, you control all your heroes and you run around the city taking on the villains, trying to keep the Mayhem track from getting too high to the point where, like I said, if it reaches 27, you lose. If you make it through all the cards and you knock out the Trouble deck, then you win the game. If not, the villains of Halitosis will take over Mintopia, and it's going to be a rough day for everyone breathing around there. So if you love superhero games and you want to take something on the road with you, then Mint Cooperative is the game to get. Alright, let's look at this final stocking stuffer. Mint Imperium. In Mint Imperium, you control the vast Imperial Navy or the ragtag group of rebel forces. You will command your leaders and your starships as you subjugate or rally planets to your cause. Each side has a different win condition, so you will need to adjust your strategy depending on which faction you play. As the Imperials, you have a large amount of units and star fortress that can obliterate planets. You must find and destroy the hidden rebel base to win. As the rebels, you have a smaller amount of units, but they can be formidable in combat. Employ hit-and-run tactics and disrupt the Imperial aggression. You win if you can survive long enough and inspire the galaxy through decisive victories. So this is one of those small games where if you take the Imperial side, you get to do the 4 X's of most gaming. Explore, expand, exterminate, and exploit. Where if you're the rebels, you're just trying to survive. So if you like one of those two things where you're either the underdog and you're fighting to survive, or you want to be the conquering Imperials, the Mint Imperium is definitely the game for you. And that concludes the 12 stocking stuffers of Christmas. There are plenty more stocking stuffers out there. Lord knows I have quite a few in my collection still. Let us know in the comments below what stocking stuffer you like to find in your Christmas stocking come Christmas morning. Once again, thank you for joining me at Gaming Solo. It's truly an honor and privilege that you're spending some time with me, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and I look forward to seeing you in the next year when Gaming Solo starts its 2nd year of solo gaming. And have a great day and Merry Christmas.